of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm here. Well, we're gonna, at this point is our public input. If anyone has anything to say or want to express, please go to the mic. Okay, and next we have Mr. Hoteling giving us an update on our capital project.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's that time of year. We're hitting the home stretch of our summer capital work. So the past couple of years, giving the board an update in August or September time, especially because it's been so busy. The team, I'll say, is not here tonight, but you know many of them. Kirsten Morger from Mosaic, Jeff West and Tom Robert from UW Arts, Henry Alvarelli, our Troy clerk of the works, the man who works 100 hours a week right now, and
Our part-time employee.
7 years ago.
Temporary.
7 years ago. Henry, you only need you a couple days a week for a year. You say he does.
Yeah, just don't tell them we're still here.
And Jeremy Jasper, our director of facilities, and Tom Weiss, his assistant director, and there's others as well. So many people that are involved in these projects to make sure they're successful, timely, and great for the community and the school community. Mission statement, which we always start with, like I've always said, we want the school safe, welcoming, and very functional for the school day. I'll get right into it. The $56 million building modernization project was voted in December of 2019, so we're going on quite a while ago. We had 5 phases planned. I'll just do a quick rundown, especially for those who weren't here back in 2019. Phase 1 started at Carroll Hill with window glazing replacement and HVAC unit replacements. That was in the summer of 21. And phase 2, May of 21 to September of 22, we had the Troy Community School, which was a year-long project. That opened up in the fall of 22. School 12, we repurposed the pool area for pupil services and special ed. That's been there for 2 years now. And a secure vestibule at School 12. At School 14, it took 2 summers to add walls to that building. Probably the most difficult project I've ever been a part of, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the team would say the same thing. We did open school on time, and we're proud of that, although it was quite the haul. Mrs. Cloutier was wonderful in that, and very calm when calm was needed. Phase 3, this past year, actually 2 years ago, was School 18. We emptied that building, put HVAC, air conditioning, secure entry, repurposed the pool area for a social emotional area down there, and redid the cafeteria and kitchen. That opened up this past September. I do thank the principal for that as well, Ginny. That was wonderful. And now we're doing it again. So School 16.
You didn't say calm. You didn't.
It was energetic. It's different. School 16, we're in the tail end of 2 phases at that building. We will be moving back. Actually, we're starting to move back. I think it's tomorrow. Furniture was being delivered yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's an extremely busy street, so don't go there if you don't need to. There's semis all along the street. In that project, we put in an elevator. That is still in process. I will tell you, I don't think the elevator is going to be handed over to us for the start of school. We're still waiting for the exact date. I'm guessing 2 weeks after the start of school. He will handle any issues that we need for ADA compliance, if there are any to start the school. Secure lobby, lots of bathroom upgrades, electrical upgrades. We can build the pool there as well, and they're getting a new library kitchen. A lot more. Mr. Carmelo toured the building a little while ago, and he was surprised at how much had changed, which I think is a good thing. I think the students, faculty, community will be very excited when they get back into that building. And then phase 5 is the long-awaited high school tech wing. We are still awaiting SED approval. Right now, engineering approval at SED is 32 weeks, which is a long time. It was shorter a couple years ago when they had third-party review. That was not continued by SED, so the queue is quite long.
I thought we were moved up a little bit on that.
Us person? Us like us in Troy?
Yeah, us Troy. I thought the tech was maybe
The tech wing is
it's
coming.
immature, right?
But I'm saying if you submitted a project today, you
Okay.
would wait 32 weeks
Oh,
to get approval. That makes it a little bit difficult because, you know, if you're planning something now, if you submit it next month, you're not getting that project done next summer. So that's an issue that the whole school community of the state needs to look at and hopefully deal with primarily at the state level. The tech wing, we're hoping to begin in this upcoming school year, bid and begin, and that will be a 1.5-year project to build a new wing in the south block and demolish the old wing near the field. Here's a little sneak peek. I just gave you a couple pictures because we will be there on September 4th for the board meeting and a ribbon cutting similar to School 18 last year. And the bottom left is the original rendering from 2019. Renderings always change a little bit as we go through the design phase. If you recall, School 16, the middle part of the building was supposed to be demolished and rebuilt. So that's why in the rendering it's ground level, but we couldn't do that because once we start digging, we always find things. And in this building, we found that the foundations weren't exactly what we thought they were. We had to kind of redesign a little bit here and there. But the front is the top left. It looks awesome when you're walking into the building. You know, Mr. Carmel and I were there. I said, no, this is what a school is supposed to look like. It really, it's got the secure vestibule, the double doors, similar to 18. The safety monitor to check people in is right there. Top right is right when you walk into the lobby. It's got a rainbow style colored staircase, new signage. The one thing in this building is, you know, we couldn't do a full gut. I mean, that's, $20 million. But there's a lot of new and merging it with the old. You know, it's got the old 1950s style green tile in certain parts of the building still. And the architects definitely had a lot of work to do to make it flow and look like it belongs. So you can see in the lobby there's some grayish tile, modernizing a lot of the building. You know, you'll see it on the 4th. Bottom right is the gym. If you weren't in there a lot, it was very dark. It had a gray ceiling, all new ceiling and lighting, redid the floor, and pretty much all of the walls on the top half had to be redone. Those were plaster walls. They had damage over the last 50 years through roof leaks at varying times, but the space is great. It's so bright. The lights aren't even on there. It's not as bright as Carroll Hill was, but it's really a great space. Did we have any questions on School 16 before I move on? No? Okay. I don't have pictures yet of the cafeteria and library. Those are a little bit, those are for phase 2, those are bid a little bit later. They will be finished, but I didn't want to scare anyone that it's under construction with 2.5 weeks to go. The high school tech wing, this is a site plan, so I know it might be a little bit hard to read. I put Burdette Ave on the left side so you can kind of tell as a point of reference. Towards the bottom is where you come in towards School 14. On the front parking lot, we are redesigning that so that it will no longer be what I'll call a Y merge.
Free-for-all?
A free-for-all is a better word, better phrase. So it'll be an actual intersection with outs and in. That was brought up by a lot of people, that they felt it was a little unsafe, and I guess I don't disagree. And so that's part of this project. On the bottom, the building that's turned a little bit, that is the new footprint of the new tech wing. There's not a bridge, it's called a link because it's 2 stories, and that brings you from, I think that's the, what's on that side? The classroom side, science side, to the new tech wing, which is approximately 29,000 square feet. And then on the right side is where the old tech wing was, and that now becomes parking at the high school because we are taking 50% of the south lot parking when this gets constructed. It's a lot to take in. We are almost the same exact number of parking spaces when it's all said and done as to now. You know, if you go to the high school, not now, but during the school year every day, it's not as bad as the middle school for sure. There is parking in the south lot on the daily. Part of this project is to put a temporary lot in the grass area in the back. Right now there's piles of dirt there. But when this work begins, that will become a temporary parking area just so we make sure we have enough for events and daily parking.
Where's the staging area?
The staging area is, we're recommending, once we bid it, and we have to deal with contractors, it'll be something different. But it's pretty much the courtyard towards Burdette. So we
That won't interfere with traffic?
Well, the entrance on the south side will stay open. We're not closing it. So pretty much up to the guardrail,
Yeah.
and to the mid road that goes to the bridge and the courtyard. So once they get the foundations in, the difficult part is going to be the cutting over of electrical and gas that exists from the tech wing. So that's connected to the bridge right now. All the electrical is connected to the bridge. That needs to be all laid in, cut over, and then the bridge gets demolished. So it's a complicated project. A lot of hours have been spent sequencing it all and trying to make sure it's very doable while doing it while school's in session.
No, we'll hear about it.
We will hear about it, but I think the high school is very excited.
Yeah.
They've been working on it for 3 to 4 years right alongside us. There's been many variations of what goes in the tech wing, what doesn't go in the tech wing. We've had some changes in personnel, so we're trying to make everybody as happy as possible. And I mean, it'll be a brand new space. It'll be absolutely gorgeous when it's all done. So it's very exciting. Here's on the other capital projects. I had it on last year, so I just wanted to give an update that the School 12 HVAC units, unit vents, those were in progress last time I was here. Those were finished in the fall, last fall. That project was fully funded by our federal programs. We had a $5 million capital outlay, sometimes referred to as the transfer to capital. That was in May of 23, I think. Yes.
But going back to School 12, do we have to do anything to prep for the pre-K program?
Oh, yes. That's next slide.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, as part of that $5 million project, we are currently doing the high school athletic softball and baseball fields to turf them. That's on the bottom left. They've been there since June. We're shooting for an October finish, and soccer will be the first thing played on the baseball field, on the baseball soccer field this fall. We're replacing the middle school sewer line. If you look out the front of the middle school, you may see some construction. Bottom right, that's the classroom that the sewer line runs through. You know, and I really just want to highlight that because some of these small projects are a lot more than everyone on the outside thinks. So that floor had to be ripped up. That pipe is 10 feet underground. And it's back. That's you know, the pipe has been laid, and they're going to pour the concrete floor. We have had instances, and this will be one, where we'll have a concrete floor to start the school year, and Doug McHale, who's the contractor, will come in and lay the floor on a couple-day bridge. Top right is the design of the softball field. The softball field will have a tee in the outfield. The baseball field will not, just so everybody knows. Let's see. Elevator at the high school is done. It just hasn't been handed over yet. We're just waiting on the final inspection. So that's good because we were a little scared that might not be done on time when the project started. As part of this project, it was also planned to redo the elevators at 2, 14, 12, and Carroll Hill, all of which have had some issues from time to time. Right now, school 2 and 14 are slated for next summer. School 12, which is a year, you know, it's used year long, we felt, okay, then maybe we just do it during the school year because summertime is pretty busy at school 12 with all the hiring. So that is planned to be done during this school year. As is Carroll Hill, which is a couple stair, it's a mid-split level. If you're not familiar with that building, it goes up and down just a couple of stairs. And that goes in and out. So we just want to get that done as soon as possible. Boilers at school 12 are a part of this project. The boilers are out, they've been removed. The new ones will be installed in the next 30 to 40 days. Chiller at school 2 is part of that. That is happening this fall. TMI is the contractor. We're just waiting for the actual unit to arrive. And then reskinning the football field will be next summer. The $46 million last May project was approved. That planning is already underway. I met with Sabina starting at Carroll Hill. The architects and Jeremy and I are meeting over there on Friday to get eyes on some things and hopefully start that process. That's the one I'm worried about. You know, I'd love to get that started next summer. I'm worried about the approval of that for SCD. So we've got to move. We don't really have much time, but you know, it's difficult to rush the design process. Okay, other summer stuff. This is non-capital, so it's not funded through a capital project, but you know, I just wanted to take the opportunity tonight to say like what else goes on here. And if you're walking through the buildings, it's a lot, especially at school 12, because 16 is moving out and pre-K, 11 pre-K classrooms are moving in. You know, it's been a lot of busy years. We refinished, two of the big things is we refinished all the hardwood floors at school 12. So the right side, Ginny, that's not your school, but it looks like your school. We did what we did at 18. We were so happy with how those came out last year. We wanted to make sure we do that at 12, which has original floors, you know, from 19, whatever, 1929, 30, and they didn't look pretty. So that's exciting. We pretty much painted a lot of the building. Some of the classrooms were all different colors. We're trying to, you know, freshen it up, standardize, and that is happening on the daily. We've got many painters at the building right now, as we do around the district. I gotta tell you, you know, Jeremy came from the state OGS, managed a lot of buildings. He came with some great ideas and knowledge that you know, I surely didn't have. And some contracts that I didn't know were available, we hopped on right away and got some vendors in here quick, which is always the problem. It's time. It's not necessarily other things. It's time. Getting it lined up and planned and prepared. So this summer's been a lot going on. There's the whole list. That's not a whole list, but a list we just put together the other day to say, hey, what have we done? Some things to highlight as well. You know, TCS is a new building, right? You know, we just redid it. Things come up all the time. So there we replaced a grease trap in the kitchen. You know, when we design things, we think we're going to do something one way. It's like the budget. The minute you approve it, it changes. The buildings are no different. We change how we do things every single year. We're cooking more down there, which created more grease, which we had to upgrade the grease trap. We did the same thing at the high school, which is a much larger scale, but did the grease trap there. And there's a whole bunch of other things. And so if you can get into buildings, take a look around. Is there high school people here? Lord. So we've been doing the hallways there, putting LED lights in the hallways, really trying to freshen up that building. They've kind of really been, you know, not the focus during these last couple of years, just because of the large scale projects that have been happening at the elementary level. So we want to make sure we give them, you know, time and money as we do everyone else. And are there any questions?
I talked to the landscapers outside on my way in. I'm so glad they're getting rid of the tall grass that looks like weeds constantly here. And they're gonna do purple and gold flowers inside. That was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I'm glad we hired local contractors.
Well, that's not always an option.
I know, but I'm making it known that I'm glad that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And as far as Tri High goes, the last time we really did anything there was when we did the school. So they're due. They're the inside of Tri High and the inside of middle school, or, you know, just due. That'll be great if we change that in front of the school and
Yeah,
take
so,
them on board.
you know, they're,
Next project.
Yeah.
right, secure vestibule there, probably doors and hallway floors, kind of match the colors throughout the building. That's one of those buildings that's got 15 different colors in it.
Yeah.
So that's part of the plan to kind of freshen up the aesthetic of the building and the inside for sure.
And just so the board knows, the team that they have between Jeremy and Henry and UW Marks and Adam, they are like gangbusters, really. I've gone to a couple of those meetings. I haven't been around lately, but they're really very aggressive. They're as aggressive as they can be with these projects, so
Yeah.
thank you.
And, you know, it is a good point of the local contractor. I wish we could do whatever we want to do at certain times. Duncan and Kale are on School 16.
Yeah.
I believe Scott said his father actually built the original School 16, and he's renovating it now, and they really couldn't be better to work with. I mean, especially with other projects where you really they try to really give it to you, especially when there's change orders. I mean, they are like, you know, they run a business,
Right.
but they also are not trying to, you know,
Kill us.
kill us. They're
Same with
reasonable.
UW Marks. Peter Marks' father built the Carroll Hill,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, so, they've been around, they're Troy people.
Right, and we're in a lot of meetings, a lot of different people, and there's a lot of negotiations that goes into these things. And we just want people to be reasonable and, you know, get the job done and make sure we can open up school on time with a great building. That's the goal. So it's been fun, stressful, but we're in the home stretch. And I'd say this year is probably the least chaotic compared to the last couple. So that's good.
14 did me in Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Oh
We're
my
getting
God.
better at it.
Karen, I don't know how you didn't jump out of the second floor window.
She did. We caught it.
That was terrible.
We are getting better, you know, in just, that was a tough couple of years. Really, a lot of it was linked to COVID. You know, and trying to do projects during COVID and the labor force and everything else, that was a big problem. The labor force problem still exists, but it's a little bit easier. You know, when I first started, however many, 15, 20 years ago on projects, we would run, 2 to 3 shifts. It's like unimaginable now. Like the people aren't there. So it makes things a little bit harder. Our windows are really short. Thankfully, we have these years to do these projects, or else they'd be 3 to 4 summers and be really crazy. But we're coming to the end of this one. We're kind of hopping right on to the next one. So,
Adam, can I ask, on the non-capital projects, you talked about some contractors working with you on some contracting vehicles that you didn't know you had access to.
Yeah.
So how did that funding all come together, and how did these projects get kind of contracted and worked through?
so those projects are really general fund projects.
Okay.
So the general fund pays for them.
Yep.
You know, you don't get aid on them, which stinks, but some stuff you just gotta take care of.
Of course,
You know?
right.
We try to build as much as possible into these projects. That's why the dollars are pretty significant.
Yeah.
Because if you can get it through a project and aid it, we essentially get 90% back.
Yep.
It's just a matter of, you know, the competing interests of, you know, do you replace the floor or do you replace, you know, the air conditioning? Like, all those things come into play.
Yeah.
They're hard to figure out. So then, a lot of the contracts are either like state available bid that you can piggyback on. And a lot of times it's knowing the players.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked who doesn't call you back. And so, you know, if you're out of contact with someone and they will return your phone call and say, what do you need? As opposed to leaving a voicemail 15 times and never hearing back. Tom Weiss is another one of those guys. Between Tom, Henry, and Jeremy, they've got a lot of contacts in the field. Henry was in the construction business, worked for numerous contractors, and Tom worked building VA hospitals and renovations. So he knows everybody, you know. And so that's really beneficial. You know, working with our purchasing agent and saying, hey, you know, this is a piggybackable contract. You know, this is how you do it. There is no really great database. You know, you have your state contracts, which you can get, you know, online from OGS. But, you know, a couple of years ago, 5, 10 years ago, whenever they passed the law to allow like full piggybacking, you know, you can piggyback off of the city of Troy. You can piggyback off of, you know, Buffalo, as long as it's allowed and it's written that way. So it's a lot of knowing the systems, you know, avoiding landmines, trying to get the stuff done.
That's
so
great. I mean, credit to the team to figure that out and be able to do some of this stuff. So
yeah, it's just not that easy.
yeah, right.
So it's been good.
Yeah, great.
Great job. So much stuff getting done, both capital and non-capital. So great job to you and that team you put up there.
Yeah.
Any questions? He'll take audience questions too. Thank you,
I
Al.
would say how we come out with that, he was, I mean, we had problems, you know, in our area, you call, and to be honest, even if it's not one of them, they'll get somebody in there, they're great, Jeremy, they're so responsive, they always call you back, we had the plumbing issues there, always to taking care of it.
It's good.
Great.
Good to have reliable help, huh? You know?
Yes.
Mr. Carmelo is going to give us an update.
Quick update on our cell phone policies. So I gave a presentation in June on the new cell phone procedures we're going to use and yonder pouches. Met with the high school, middle school teams this week. So the yonder pouches are due this week sometime or early next week. Each student will have their own pouch with their names on them. We actually decided at that meeting we are going to put their names on. We're going to laminate have a little Troy symbol, Troy Middle School with the kids' names, student ID possibly. So we'll do a form rather than have it, so that it's standardized and rather than each kid have it look a little bit different. A message went out on Parent Square to all the families today to kind of remind them that's this, so it's kind of long, but it's also on our website, which reminds us of all the process and procedures. They put an FAQ together, which is very good. You can look on our website for that. I'll actually email you the board this tomorrow so you can read what everybody said. And last time you guys asked about Parent Square, and I'm working on that so you'll get the actual Parent Square messages. I know those of you that are parents are already got it, but
I just
huh?
got it.
Okay, I got it today.
You probably just sent it.
I don't send it. How's this work? But I'll I'll email the whole board tomorrow, just so you have it. And we also, on our website, I think it was Ann or Ebony, I can't remember which one, from Friday's meeting. I had Jason, when I gave the presentation, I had Jason cut the video of my presentation, which I think was about maybe 12 or 13 minutes, and then leave time for questions and answers. Because a couple of local superintendents wanted to see it, so I sent it to them. They're actually doing it as well. A lot of, since we did talk about it in June, several districts have jumped on, at least a half dozen just in our request our BOCES. But knowing that we had that clip, we talked about Jason putting it on the website. So it's on the website now. You can go to the website and click on and watch that presentation from June. We want to get out there as much as we can. So we're doing that. We're going to try to put a press release together sometime in the next few days. There's been other districts in the news, and so I think the more places and times our families hear about it, the better rollout it's going to be in the fall. But we're moving along. Again, I'll give this all to you tomorrow, but you can direct people to the website if they have questions. Certainly can call either of the buildings. They're ready to answer any of those questions. There's still a few logistics that we're working out as far as entrances into the building and how, which doorways and all that kind of stuff, and a few other things. But I mean, we're really excited about it. As I said in June, I think it's going to be transformational for both middle school and high school. I think it's going to take a very short time for students to realize that it's the right thing and to really start enjoying it. At least that's the feedback we're getting from districts that are using it. So, looking forward. Questions on that? Thank you.
We have our transfers posted and motion on the floor for approval of minutes, July 31st, 2024.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Superintendent recommendation, human resources, staff matters, unclassified and classified. Under unclassified, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 13.
Second.
Under discussion, I'd like to introduce the board to Talia. Stand up and say hi. Everybody.
Hi,
This is-
I know most of you.
Yeah, and this is going to be Jordan's new partner in crime.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thanks.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under classified, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 3.
Second.
Discussion. All
And
those in favor?
can I make a mention on this? So, John, I think I have reached out and talked to you about the temporary stipends or the stipends that come along with coaches and all that today, right? You gave some good feedback. I would just ask that we ensure that, at least for the fall programs, all the coaches have been approved or are able to get approved for a stipend to be able to support the kids and everything that's going on. If there's anybody else out there, I just want to verify that all that has been completed and good to go, because there's been some discussion about missing stipends or not approved stipends, and just trying to make sure that, like today, what I brought to you and Ann, that some of that stuff is getting taken care of. Or if it's not, we're getting the
Yeah, I think it is. It's going to be all set.
Okay.
As I said today, coaches can't get paid until they finish all their certifications.
Yep.
So a lot of times we're waiting on that.
Yep.
Particular case you asked about today,
Yep.
a couple videos that
Yep.
the person has to
Understood,
still
yeah.
watch,
Yep.
and the workshops that they have to
Yep.
complete. But yeah, there's never coaches that are certified and done their stuff that don't
That don't get it, right.
that don't
Right.
get respect.
Okay.
But we also have coaches that volunteer.
We do have volunteer
We
coaches.
do have volunteer coaches, so just to
Understood.
put that.
Yep.
Did I get a second? No. Under, am I getting a second?
You
Wait, did I read it? No, wait a minute. Did I read it?
Yes, Teresa, you got the second.
I got
the second.
You got the second.
Okay.
Okay, so that was discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Superintendent recommendations programs. Motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 7.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Superintendent recommendations, business finance, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 and 2.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adam, were they 8 foot above landscapers that are out there now?
I believe so. They're working in advance.
I didn't say that. I did not say
Make
that.
sure they don't get your stipend until
I did not say, he's gonna get sorry.
Right now they're volunteering. We're gonna get them off.
That's awesome.
Anthony's working for this day.
That is awesome.
Okay.
Good question, Ann.
Great time to ask it too.
Really, perfect.
All those in favor?
Well, we already voted on it, so it's okay. Superintendent recommendations, business finance, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 3.
Second.
And I won't ask anything. All those in favor? Discussion. Does anybody have a discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? District announcement. Future board meeting, all meetings will take place at 6 o'clock. The next meeting will be here on the 28th. Just remember, September 4th was moved to school 16 for the ribbon cutting, so we'll be there. I think, Josh, you're the only school 16 parent here, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Up here. We're the
Yeah.
ones that count.
Yeah.
Well, that used to be quite useful.
Yeah, right. So, under good news,
Troy,
the mayor's office called to let us know that the city will be honoring our monitor, Al Prater, by dedicating a street to him for his lifelong work serving the students and families within the city of Troy and the Troy community. If you are available, the event is scheduled for Friday, August 16th at 11 a.m. on the corners of between 6th and 7th Avenue. If anybody, it's the block down from where Earl Street is.
And what did you say it was?
Friday at 11.
Friday at 11 a.m. Don't show up.
Okay.
Rensselaer County paid. IDA documents. There's a question mark. What am I doing with IDA documents? Am I getting them?
Are you still receiving them?
No. I have to
No. But
In my
I'll
life.
be the one that's-
Still-
Oh, should I be, if anybody else wants it. Anybody want, yeah, you can send it to me. We'll figure it out,
Okay. And then the voting delegate for next.
Yeah, if anybody, Dan Tapp has already shaking her head, no. NISWA voting delegate is,
It's fun.
the last time I left the meeting after 4.5 hours, it was like 9:30 at night, I said, I'm out here. But I will take it again this year, but it'd be, if I could get somebody else to do it with me this year, so that next year, when I'm not here, somebody will be doing it.
I'll do it.
Great.
Who wants Ann to run again one more time?
I'm not even looking on it.
Except for Ginny. Ginny.
Remember you.
You can take.
I think does anybody else have any recommendations or comments?
Danielle, we already did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Danielle, this is Ebony. Oh, maybe Donnie wasn't here either.
I wasn't here either.
Oh,
Hey, Danielle, stand up.
stand up, Danielle. Danielle's down in our middle school.
As principal,
Yeah, she's filling Josh's spot.
Okay,
Assistant
welcome.
principal. Assistant principal.
congratulations.
Like, that's the middle school team right there.
Right there?
That's
Okay.
a Troy High team right there. We have school 18 behind there, we have school 2 over there. School 14 over there. Who else did I forget? Julie.
Nathaniel.
Oh, Julie. They're over there. I think that's it. Motion on the floor to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Great meeting. Okay, now I'm gonna get in trouble. Thank you, everybody. Safe trip home.